Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. On the last video, we were working on burning the head of the wren plus the wing coverts right in this area right here, which these little pockets, okay, that actually start the wing. So today, what I want to do is come in and show you how to burn all this in, and then we will relieve them, and I'll show you how I do that, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to move the camera down, but I've done the burning on both sides, so you can actually see what that looks like on either side of the head, okay? So I hope you got that far, and if you didn't, you have to practice a little bit. It doesn't come real fast. It's not an easy process. I've been doing it very long, so that's the reason why I make it look easy, but you may want to get a little practice board. The other thing I want to reflect on is that maybe I didn't state it earlier, and this is like putting a cart before the horse here. Before you start burning and marking these feathers out, you should have sanded the bird. I don't know, I haven't looked back on the last couple of videos before we started this process. You want to sand this nicely so it's nice and smooth, the surface, so that your feathers, when you burn it and there's no ripples or anything like that, you got everything nice and smooth. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So bear with me and we'll take it down, but I needed to tell you that just in case I forgot it the first time around, okay? So sorry about that. I'm going to move the camera down and then we'll start. I'll show you how to burn. Okay, we're back again. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to get my burning unit and I'm going to, this I use is the Optima P12S, which is a smaller one, and I like this one, but you can do this with a lot of different pens. I just like this a lot. It just tends to work out well. The other thing that you don't see on the screen is I wear these optivisors, which helps me. Not that I'm getting any younger, but even younger people, it just helps when you need some magnification to do the detailing. I'm a big advocate for that. If you ever need them, I have ones that have 3 lenses. One of them is like a loupe that slides down, also has a light on it. And if you're interested in those, I have them available, as well as the Optivisor itself, which is the one I just showed you. Okay, so I have a variety of them, and they're different magnifications. So I'm going to start, and here's my first feather up top here. I'm going to come in on the line, and I'm going to press in a little bit, and I want to burn in right along the line. If you notice, I'm not taking the whole swing all at one shot, and I come around and I keep control. So I'm going to do like half the feather basically and come around. Then I'll pick up the other half going this way and come around. Then I'll do this one, come up this way. Try to stay on the line. Takes a little practice. And you don't want to reshape your feathers if you could possibly do it, okay? So that's the goal, is to try to have exactly what you have down there as far as the pencil lines. And your feathers, yeah, you want them to look pretty decent, you know, but you can cheat a little bit too, you know. It's not like everything has to be so perfect. The thing we do on here is I set up a pattern to account for certain feathers that identify the bird. And it's, in reality, there's probably a whole slew of feathers out there. But what we do is we pick out the ones that are more prominent, and we try, when we have markings on the bird and everything else, we go to try to bring them out. So I create the feather pattern to accomplish that. But if you ever got into a real wing of a bird, there's like hundreds or thousands of feathers in there. And I don't know exactly the exact number, but it's it's a lot. And what we're doing is we're sort of like mimicking what we can. So these are patterns that I developed over the years, and I change them all around because depending, sometimes I make the bird fatter, I made the bird thinner, but the length is generally the same. I try to stay within that boundary, but when it comes to counts on the feathers, I do just enough to make it visible that you can see the feathers that are prominent enough to distinguish the bird. Okay, so I am pressing in just a little bit, and for the setting that I'm about 5.5 on the setting, but I wouldn't. Every burning unit has a different number or setting, even though it's the same manufacturer sometimes. So you have to determine this for yourself, where you need to be, but you don't want to torch it. You know, it's not like I have such a hot tip. It's hot, let me tell you, but you don't want to. I used to have one student in my class. I used to call him the torch, and if he didn't see smoke coming off when he was burning the bird, he wasn't burning the bird. That was his attitude. Okay, so you don't want to be that way, but if I don't know how much you can see on the screen, there's a very little smoke coming off of this, but yeah, there's you can get carried away. I just got a little bit of a puff right there, but it's not like craziness. And so what I'm trying to do is really follow what I have here in pencil. In pencil, you want to try to get steady on this, you know what I mean, as far as trying to keep what you have in pencil into the burn here. And I'm going to do everything on one side, but what I would like you to do is, like we did on other videos where I only do half of it, I want you to do the other half, and you can follow me that way. Because the video would be just duplicating what I've done here. So you do one half, you do the same thing on the other half. It's the exact same thing. And on some of the patterns that I have, some of you, if you're following with the pattern doesn't always show you the other side. It's a duplicate, and that is it sort of stymies somebody, I guess, because here's the pattern here, and you only see it on this side. So that's that side. When you go to the other side, you're like, oh, well, how do I do that? Well, one way to do this is to help you, is to flip this. And if you get this blank side, you can actually put this up to a piece of glass, and you're looking outside and get some light. Or if you have a light table, you can put in all the feathers on here in pencil or in ink, and then you'll have it on this side. It's an exact flip of this on the other side, okay? So, and you can then have the flip side of this as you're looking through. It will get transparent if you hold it up to glass or a light table where you lay that down, and you'll see the image here reflected through. So try that sometime if that's helpful to you too. I know I draw everything, and I've been drawing forever, so I have an ability to accomplish that, and it gets a little tricky for people that can't see the other side. So I try to give you boundaries, as we did in the previous videos, to guide you to what falls in what areas and how they lay. So here is the burned area, and I want to try to show you. I'm going to come in with what they call a diamond, with that doesn't have diamond on the end. It's called a safe end. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to lay this right up against that burn, flat on the one feather below it, like this. And I hope you can see this well. And you're trying to keep it flat and come around. It's a little tricky, especially with this wing, this tail that sticks up. And you come up to the mantle, but you don't go on the mantle. And you clean that out, and the first one gets raised, okay? Then you come to the second one. You don't go on the mantle. And this safe end will not, well, you gotta be steady. It probably would go beyond the burn, but generally it'll trail where the burn is. The burn acts as like a stop. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper on the second one, just a little bit, and smooth that all out. And then I'm going to go to the third feather, lay that on its edge, come down, come around. It gets tricky with this tail because the tail's like in its way. But I'm going to also show you another bit. If you have it in your arsenal, you have to be a little more steadier. This is a diamond. It's a real, it's very fine grit, so you don't need to do any sanding once you get done. And it gives you a perfect sanded surface. Even this top one, which I didn't sand, I could just come over that a little bit. And get that in shape. Now, what I'm going to do is shut my machine off here, and I'm going to also show you another bit. What is really dark? I don't think I have a better one than this one at the moment, but yes, I do. Yes, I do. This is a barrel. I mean, a bullet. It's diamond again, and I really like these. And it gets me into tight areas, but it also, I like it for feathering as well. And what I do is I lay that right up on here. Now, I'm going to do this series, and then I'm going to do this series here, this grouping right in here. So I'm going to come in here. I said series, I meant grouping. I'm going to come up and around. It is. This one here is under this one. So I'm just going to clean out a little bit here. I undercut this one, come around. And I'm not worried about these behind. They are below these, so these are on top of the ones behind it. So there's those. Then I'll do these, And I'm going to come around. Notice I don't worry about these, and if you didn't burn it deep enough, you may have to go back and burn them again. So don't be afraid to lose a little bit of detail. That's the nature of burning. Sometimes you have to do that to get them to look like they're laying on top of each other, okay? And then I'll get this last one down here. And this whole wing is curving this way. So we do have to lower this. So if you notice, I'm starting to lose some of the detail of the feathering. So to help you out, and this is even may occur even up above here, if you feel as though you're losing something, you could come back in with a pencil and put it in there. Same way here, same way here. I'm going to come back in, and before I lose that detail of where the feather actually lays, I'm going to come back in and pencil it back in again. Then I'm going to get my pen. It's a little bit like a double work, but you don't lose everything. I'm going to come back up on this one because I don't think you guys can see that too well. Let me let the pen heat up for a second here. There we go. And come right back into that groove. Then I'm going to come back on this one and reburn it. I'm going to burn a little deeper because this grouping has got to be lower than these. So you got to take this down a little bit more. So I'm going to burn and linger a little bit on these here because I got to lower these right along this grouping right in here. So if you notice, I heavied it up a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do, just to expedite things a little bit, I'm going to come back. And along here, this has to be really lowered because we're going to lower the front end right here. See, I just lost this upper part here. No big deal. But I'm going to come along here. Even up in here, we're probably going to take this down some more. So right along this edge right here, notice how deep I'm coming. And I don't have the right bit here, but for just taking some of this out, for the moment, I want to show you that this wing is called, what you can have is a drop wing. It lays down. So we need to lift this. So not to lose you again, I'm going to come in. Here's that feather. See how it almost got lost? It's right here. And then I'm going to come in and burn that again so we don't lose it. And you may have to do this just so you don't lose your feather. Let me wait until this pen heats up just a little bit. They heat up pretty fast. And I'm coming around. And burn that back in. Then I'm going to burn this one deeper. And you need to because these are on top of these. And these are on top of these, but these are the top ones over here. So it's sort of like this is the top group. This is the next group that's on top. This is the next group. This is the next group. And then it's this last group down here. It go in sequence like that. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. Just heavy a couple of these. Then I'm going to come in. I'm going to clean this up right up to the burn. And you can, I don't know if you could see it well. I've removed some of the material. I'm going to come in with a pair, which is a lot more forgiving. But all along here, I want this raised, so I'm lowering this end. So I'm going to come along here, take this down again. You can see I'm losing some of the detail. Now, before I forget, I'm going to get into these. This one, there's 3 of them here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come in and undercut this and come around. That's the first one. Here's the second one. And come all the way around. Now, these feathers in the back here are under those, so. And then I'm going to come around on the third one. And I didn't lift them a whole lot, but like I said, these are on top. These are under these here. These are under these here, so you got to stage them. And then these come in next. This grouping right here, and then this last grouping of the wing. So I'm just going to clean that out a little bit. Come back with my pencil again. Put that back in. Put that back in. This back in. This back in. Oop. Got one up there. This back here. And if I lost this one, I'll just put that one back in, and this one floating up. Now I'll go back in and burn. What's actually happening here? I'm using the burning pen as a stop, and what I mean by that is when you're grinding and you have the burn in there, it gives you a nice clean stop where the feather starts and stops. So that's what we're doing. We're coming back in. I haven't relieved these yet, but I was losing them every time I grind to get the feathers in front of it, which are above. They disappear. But that's the nature of having to get the feathers in. At least for me it is anyway. There's probably other people that have different techniques. I just tend to do it this way, and I've been doing it too long, like an old dog that hasn't learned new tricks yet, but there's probably other ways around this, but I'm giving you my way of doing it, and nothing wrong with it. It's just you get a little more work, and I know a lot of people when they grind, they only want to grind so much so they don't lose the detail of the feathering, but you really have to get staging going in there. Excuse me for banging into the camera. So here we go again. I got them all in again. I'm going to come in again. I'll lift this one, come around to here, up to that grouping. These will be on top. This is going underneath. And I do the next one, and that comes, and they start pulling around, it looks like, okay? It's like a little bit of a curvature here, if you do it right. And then this one, it's lowered, and then this one, right behind it, and then this one. You can see that pulling around. I don't know if you can see that on camera here. And then the last one here. So, and these coming up here are under these here. And you may have to burn them a couple of times, but don't feel as though you're bound by the burn, by the pencil mark. You know, you can always come back in and reburn. If I didn't get enough of a detail in there or something like that, you know, or depth, I should say, then I would come back in and reburn again. And I'll do that every time. Now, what we're going to try to do, and right now I'm just trying to get the feathers in, but this structure has to come in. That we have a lot of fat right in here. This tail is going to come in down to here, and then we're going to sculpture this out of here. So don't have too much concerns. We will clean this up, and I will come back in. I'm going to try to make sure that each one of these feathers sort of stand out and have a little bit more depth as we come out, because I'm going to show you what we're trying to achieve. Here's one that's finished, and all these feathers sort of wrap around here just a little bit, and then look how much we take out behind here, because you're going to actually get thinner behind these feathers. And all this, where the tail comes down, it gets sculptured in. And look at this hump that's in here right now compared to this. See, all this is excess material, and I'm going to show you how to take that out too. But for now, we're just trying to get these out of here. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing on this side. You know, you may want to heavy up on the feathers, you know, with the pencil line so you can see everything, and then go at it the same way. And the grouping is, this is group 1, and it goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you do group 2, which is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you do this grouping, which is right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do the 3 down here, and then this gets lowered pretty good in here. So you may want to undercut along this line, and then make sure you burn these deep right up in these area as far as the front end, and then stage these down. And that's the last grouping. Okay, so hope you got something out of this, and I didn't confuse you that much, but that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to narrow this area in here. We will, so don't concern yourselves too much with that, because we got to get rid of a lot of material right in this area. So I'll see you on the next video. I hope you got something out of it, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you would subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that as well, and we will keep marching on. We'll probably get this done, and I'm going to show you how to open up the wing, because if you look at this, see, there's a lot of separation between the wing and the breast. So we will do that on the next one, and we will also start shaping this area in here to get the tail in, and then we'll proceed on. So I hope you got something out of it. If you are interested in like a kit or the patterns or the burning units or anything I'm using, if I can help you out with it, I'll make recommendations. I like certain things, and if you I could give you some advice on things. So feel free to comment, and if I lost you on some sections of this, please give me a call, or write to me in the comments section, or email me as well. That's in my videos as well. And if you want to converse, I can give you my telephone number at that point, and we can talk, and I'll try to help you out as much as I can, even though it could get a little confusing at times. So hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks again.